Ministry of Culture Brazil, MRS Logística, Escola de Gente, Communication and Inclusion presents A Different Friend, National Circulation. Hércules Soares.
We're building a different society in a simple way.
Marcos Nauer.
There was a boy who came to see the performance and he couldn't move except for his eyes.
João Alves.
It's so amazing when a blind child says, "Lucas, let me meet you."
Marcos.
And after some time, he sends us an email reviewing the play.
Natália Simonetti.
If I could sum it all up in one word, I would say transformation.
People entering the audience of a theater. Group of children get off a bus. A wheelchair-bound child smiles. Children drawing. Audio describer describes the set. Actors put makeup on. Seats reserved for people with disabilities. Actors in the audience. One of them is dressed as a cat. Ipanema Theater, Rio de Janeiro, September 2013.
Escola de Gente presents a rock musical, A Different Friend, the first theatrical performance produced in Brazil fully accessible for children and youngsters. It's good for everyone besides ensuring rights.
Scene of the play. In a child's room set, 5 actors in colored overalls dancing near 2 other actors. One of them is dressed as a cat and plays the guitar. The other one, with sunglasses and a red jacket, imitates Michael Jackson. Founder of Escola de Gente, Cláudia Werneck.
In 2007, we made the first fully accessible Brazilian performance for adults. In 2011, A Different Friend, with full accessibility for children.
Marcos.
Disabled children and children without disabilities understand it, get touched by it, dance and sing to it.
Scene of the play, The Boy and the Cat.
I was born weird, or did I get weird later?
Cláudio Serra.
It shows everyone is different, and this is more interesting than showing we're all the same. Getting the audience to think about it, children and adults, through laughter, I believe is a very smart way to reach them. It's not as if we're just giving them a piece of information. We get an immediate response.
Scene, The Cat Sings. Lucas on the bed.
Time went by and Lucas couldn't find any friends. Slowly, following the beat, he still can't get it. No child is the same, they are all different, you can't deny it.
Cláudia.
The book, A Different Friend, with the question mark, stems from my desire to not only inform adults about inclusion, but also to educate children about this matter. There is no different friend. Differences are everywhere.
The Boy and the Cat with a Computer.
Different children. Diversity is inherent to humans. Therefore, all children are different. I didn't get it.
Cláudia.
I'm very glad to see that this 20-year-old effort is now a play written by Marcos Nauer.
The Boy in the Red Jacket dances. Marcos.
He is considered weird, different. He is 9 years old and his name is Lucas. He was based on me and all Brazilian children. And he has no friends because no one wants to be friends with a weird kid.
Cláudia.
All lyrics are inspired by the methodologies and contents of Escola de Gente and by my books. So, you know, when this play is performed, what I see is our history, all of it.
The Boy and Triplets.
You are twins, born together, but we are not the same. Favorite ice cream? Chocolate. Strawberry, vanilla, chocolate. Strawberry, not Neapolitan.
Sequence about the play on the news.
Now we are touring Brazil, Belo Horizonte, Juiz de Fora, Brasília, Santos and São Paulo. A completely inclusive show is playing in the city. It's the children's play, A Different Friend. Good morning, everybody. This campaign was created in 2011 by the NGO Escola de Gente. It has served over 60,000 people all over the country.
Márcia Hollenberg.
This campaign, Accessible Theater, Art, Entertainment and Rights, proposes that all people can indeed go to the theater. A different friend has inspired a national campaign, and we embrace this cause. And we believe we can put this campaign out there.
Audio describer with Nara, visually impaired, visiting the set.
This is an iron bookcase. It's painted yellow and all the shelves have toys on them.
Nara.
Visiting the stage was essential for me to understand the setting. Now with accessibility I feel complete, to laugh when everybody laughs, to understand everything in real time.
Claudia.
It's all about freedom, about pleasure, and also about the fulfillment of rights and abiding by the Brazilian law.
Workshop.
Choose the person you think looks the most like you and go to them.
Several people in a room.
Hey, what's up?
Among them, the actors of the play. They go looking for their peers. Claudia.
We do accessible theater and teach how to do accessible theater. At the accessible theater workshops in each city, our goal is not to get there and show off what we do. We show you how it's done so that you can do your own accessible theater and find better solutions than the ones we have found.
Hércules.
When we tour, we get feedback from several types of audience, from people with disabilities, to students who begin to link what they've seen to the reality they live at school. So we take the discussion from a government level or an academic level and bring it to society as a whole.
The group, Os Inclusos e os Cisos.
We are Os Inclusos e os Cisos. Os Inclusos e os Cisos, created by Escola de Gente in 2003, is perhaps our best-known brand in Brazil today.
Marcos.
It was an invitation from Tata, Claudia's daughter. She gathered her closest friends and said, "You guys, let's start a group."
Natália.
We were 18, 19 years old. We had just started college, so we were all very excited to work. And we also had a cause.
Tata Werneck.
The first Brazilian group to perform plays which were fully accessible. We had sign language interpreters, audio description, information in Braille.
Marcos.
How would we approach this without being boring? So we decided to do it through comedy.
Tata e Natália acting.
Hey Mom, what? How would Sleeping Beauty sue if she had a bad arm? I don't know. Hey Mom, if I didn't have an arm, would you still like me?
May 2013. First public hearing with full accessibility in Congress.
The National Congress, in an unprecedented attitude against the rules of the House, has just allowed that, besides human beings, characters can also participate in this hearing. Thus, the Congress meets an official request from characters from the play A Different Friend, who wish to personally defend the urgency of accessible theater in Brazil, mostly for children and youngsters.
Characters in the audience.
I feel like super special for being here at this really important moment, at this really important place with really important people. Mom, we are here at the Chamber of Deputies defending characters and accessibility.
Jean Willis.
I met Claudia Werneck at the Committee of Inquiry on Child and Adolescent Abuse. She was in the audience. I was giving a talk. When it was over, she mentioned accessible theater and said, "We should hold a public hearing." I said, "Let's do it, and we hope we can come up with solutions."
Vamos construir uma audiência pública e a gente espera que desse encontro saiam soluções.
Davi.
When you say, all people are equal before the law, you are already saying it all. All people.
Lá tá dizendo tudo, todos.
Including people with disabilities.
Pessoas com deficiência.
Anaí Guedes.
The theater you promote is not only for people with disabilities. It is for everybody. I hope one day we don't need to say accessible theater anymore.
Jandira Fegali.
I want to highlight the importance of what you have been able to do at this parliament and say that this is the first public hearing of the National Congress with full accessibility here within the Congress.
Cláudia.
I will start with no microphone because this is also a method of accessibility. It is important for people who are visually impaired or blind to know where the people who are talking are situated at that moment. It is in fact a method of accessibility which doesn't cost money. Many cost money. I think one of the biggest obstacles we have today regarding the implementation of public policies, which have evolved when it comes to inclusion, is that public budgets be completely reviewed so that they can keep up with the implementation of policies.
Márcia.
A rich nation is one which is rich in human and cultural rights. Thank you. I invite to the signing of the Act of Inauguration of the Accessible Theatre, Art, Entertainment and Rights Theme Day.
They all sign. Jean.
A word which defines the work of Escola de Gente is persistence. They persist in the building of a fairer world. Congratulations to Escola de Gente, which is our school.
TV program.
September 19th. Today we celebrate for the first time the National Day for Accessible Theatre.
Tata.
I was studying theater and I always heard about accessibility and inclusion, so I didn't understand why the plays were not accessible. Why it was seen as a refinement and not as an obligation, a priority.
Cláudia.
It is a great joy to celebrate today for the first time the National Day for Accessible Theatre. So I would like to welcome Deputies Jean Willis, Jandira Fegali and Secretary Márcia Hollenberg.
People on the stage. Márcia.
This is all very recent, and this right must become public policy. These isolated actions must become permanent, so that we won't have to say accessible theater, because all culture will then be accessible.
Jandira.
Conquering hearts and minds, so that accessibility in fact becomes a reality in Brazil.
Jandira and Cláudia hug each other. Cláudia.
It was an old dream to accomplish a mass media campaign. It is fully accessible. Maybe it's the first time we broadcast a campaign with sign language, audio description and captions.
Bel Kutner.
When Cláudia and Tata invited me to take part in the campaign, I was glad because I already had an eye on this great project.
Video.
We are Bel, Diogo and Tiago. Our biggest challenge is to have accessible theater in Brazil. The curtain opens and shows the logo, Accessible Theater.
Tiago Bravanel.
More people will come. Everybody, together.
Marta Suplicy.
This is the first step. Many others must be taken. If there is no accessibility, we get smaller, we get tinier.
Cláudia.
We brought the project to favelas with everything you are going to see today. And we bring our beliefs, our experience everywhere we go.
Felipe Lins.
The UN and the World Bank have reported poverty and disability walk hand in hand. We need to think about diversity within diversity.
Cláudia.
What matters is that we do it and we have partners who have supported us over the years. This brings about more responsibilities and also more freedom. Freedom to be bold and do what hasn't been done yet.
Final scene of the play. All the characters sing and dance.
I will always be by your side.
Cláudia.
We want to show you can bring ethics, art and accessibility together. Each stanza and lyrics, it all echoes inside of me. It all vibrates. I'd like to watch it every day. I like to watch it because maybe this is what nurtures me.
End of the play.
My story ends like this, with rock and roll.
Sponsors: Law of Incentive to Culture, MRS Logística. Producers: Escola de Gente, Communication and Inclusion, Ministry of Culture, Federal Government, Brazil. Escola de Gente would like to thank all the people and institutions who helped to build this story from 2003 until today. The media campaign Accessible Theater, Art, Entertainment and Rights was the first in Brazil to use audio description, sign language and subtitles. Its TV spots was shown 1,911 times in 2013 by TV Globo, and it was seen by at least 60 million people in Brazil.